So Mel, a new record out next month.
Yes.
How are you feeling about it?
I'm excited. I'm a bit exhausted. I'm a bit old for this malarkey. No, do you know what? I'm really looking forward to it coming out because I've taken a bit more time with this one, and it's been 5 years since my last record. So I was starting to get, you know, a bit itchy to get back out there and to play, really, because I've done lots of other bits and bobs in between. But just to be out there with my bands, doing my own tunes, I'm really excited about that.
Trying to find myself in the night without you. I can't find you.
2016 was always going to be a significant year and always going to be a big one for you.
Yeah.
20 years on from, you know, the Spice Girls breakthrough and the debut album and everything. Did you kind of think about that when it was coming up? I mean, were you aware as the bells rang this January?
To be honest with you, it's been something we've all talked about for the last couple of years. In fact, since we did the Olympics in 2012, and then that was the night where Victoria hung up her dancing shoes. Understandably so. I mean, you know, what she's done in the world of fashion is incredible. You know, we're all so proud of her. And she, you know, she didn't really enjoy the Olympics. You know, she wouldn't mind me saying she found it really difficult, and she was really nervous. We were all really nervous, but she was nervous to the point of this is not fun, actually. So she didn't want to continue to do anything else. But the other four of us were like, you know what? It's quite a good laugh, that. You know, maybe we should do it again. And so we had a few chats and we go, well, let's leave it. Let's get back together in about a year. And so it's something we were kind of loosely planning. The thing is, because, you know, we are all grown-ups now, even though we don't all behave like it sometimes. And we're all mums as well, so we're busy and we've got stuff going on, but we respect each other, you know. So it was always like, look, no pressure on anyone. It's got to be right. Everyone's got to be really into it.
And you said, I mean, obviously you've opted not to kind of take part in the reunion, but you've said that was a really difficult decision.
Yeah, it was really hard.
How long did you kind of spend making it, and why did you decide not to do it?
Well, I kind of went through these ups and downs of being like, yeah, that's a really great idea. Oh, that's really exciting. Then going, I'm not sure, something doesn't feel quite right. And I just always had this nagging thing that when we did the reunion, it was the five of us. And when we did the Olympics, it was the five of us. And for me, the Spice Girls was about the five of us. You know, we were individuals. It was one of the wonderful things about the band. You know, we were all so different, and collectively we came together and we were this mental ball of energy. Now, to have the opportunity to do that again, you know, because people say, oh, well, you went out as a four-piece without Jerry, but we didn't have a choice. But that was kind of out of our hands. But this time I had a choice. And yeah, it was nagging away at me, and I just thought, you know what, I have to listen to this. Like something was not feeling right. And when I eventually made the decision, I just felt so much better. You know when something's really just on your mind and it's bothering you and you go, okay, I'm not going to do it, and it's just this relief.
And better for your equilibrium, because as you say, I mean, you've talked in the past about what it was like being in that Spice Girls bubble, because obviously we all remember it from you know, the kind of external point of view as fans, as people consuming the media at the time. What was it like to be in the eye of that storm 20 years ago? How do you look back on that time now?
It's funny actually, because I did an interview earlier today, and the guy had a cover of the magazine with me on it from, God, I don't know, 17 years ago or something. And it's like, God, who is that person? You know, I look at pictures of myself from that time and I kind of feel really protective of her. Sounds stupid talking about yourself like that, but it's like I was so young and so vulnerable. And we were protected, you know, and totally in a bubble. That's such a perfect way to describe it. We had very little time away from the band or away from a working environment. So, you know, security, record company people, management people, or, you know, on a plane, off a plane, in a hotel. I mean, there's no reality. It's all very exciting and loads of fun, but not realistic, and you can't maintain that.
And how did you start to process the pressures? Because you've, I think, talked very openly in the past about the struggles that you experienced with, you know, depression and eating disorders, which was the result of just that extreme spotlight. Yeah. How did you start to learn to manage that? And you know, how do you kind of deal with that sort of stuff now?
Do you know, I think, again, funnily enough, going back to instinct, all the time when, you know, I wasn't looking after myself properly, and, you know, and I did suffer with depression. It's something, you know, in my life that I have to deal with. You know, it's there, it exists within me. You know, I have the tools to deal with it. I think it's, you know, it's something you can't deal with on your own. And there are lots of different ways and lots of different avenues, and hell knows, I've tried a lot of them, most of them. But yeah, you just have to find what works for you.
Have you got better at that? I mean, when you first decided to talk about some of your kind of personal struggles, was that a really big decision? And obviously you're comfortable doing that now.
Yeah, do you know, it's funny, isn't it? Because I think about all the things that have happened to me over the years, and when I've talked about things, and, you know, you question yourself a lot, don't you? You know, you question the decisions you made. And sometimes I think, oh, bloody hell, I wish I hadn't even told anyone. I wish I'd never brought it up.
I think you've always had a relationship with your fans as a solo artist, and, you know, obviously as part of the Spice Girls, where you've had a very kind of direct connection with them. So I suppose it, you know, it makes sense to kind of speak frankly about whatever you've got going on. Yeah. I wondered what you make of the generation of women now, young women who grew up singing those Spice Girls songs and, you know, shouting about girl power, because I think that, you know, nobody knew what a phenomenon it would become, and I think the kind of unintended consequences of the Spice phenomenon are really fascinating. What do you make of that generation?
I love it, and it's funny because I am more and more proud of being a Spice Girl every day, every year, you know, because I mean, they're not even young girls anymore, you know, they're women, they're mothers, they have businesses, and they're successful, they're brilliant. And so many women come up to me and they say, you changed my life, you know, you girls, it's like you gave me the confidence to do what I wanted to do. And all of us girls talk about it, all the Spice Girls. I say, isn't it incredible when people come up to you? I mean, it's the biggest honour, and to have been a tiny little part of that. And it's not just about the Spice Girls. I mean, it was this huge wave that, you know, that started way beyond the Spice Girls and has continued. But just to have been, you know, I suppose, part of something quite iconic that really stood for that is just amazing. And
what do you think about the role models that young girls have got to choose from these days in music?
It's pretty piss poor, isn't it, to be fair? I mean, it's, you know, it's just looking at everything, you know, sometimes you think, come on, girls, let's go back to basics. I remember, it really makes me laugh, when the Spice Girls were criticised for being, you know, too sexual.
You were on top of the pops in a tracksuit. I mean, come on.
In a footy kit. But it was like, you know, we wore crop tops, and I remember, you know, it was disgusting, they were wearing crop tops. And to be fair, there was like 6-year-olds wearing crop tops, which isn't a really great look. But God, I mean, what is girl power? And some people, you know, took it and run with it one way, and, you know, and became really empowered and, you know, really achieved great things, and then other ones just got the bits out. But, you know, it's what it is to you, isn't it? I find it hard, because I think it's weird, isn't it? You know, you have to respect people's motivation for doing things, but I suppose because I'm not that way inclined, I just don't see, you know, getting me bits and bobs out. I don't find that empowering, or empowering. To me, it doesn't feel like it's a positive empowerment.
Fantastic. Well, best of luck with all of it. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
I hear the music, but I can't